Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back. And today we are going to learn machine learning. So I got so many requests from you that you want to learn machine learning. You want to watch some videos on machine learning from my channel. So that's why this is my first video I'm making on machine learning. And to be honest, it's going to be very easy. And there are certain number of audience for which I'm making this video. So before we proceed, let me just tell you about this particular video and what we are going to do. So machine learning, like when we talk about machine learning, then there are two ways to learn it. One is that you want to become a kind of a machine learning expert, where you will learn statistics, you will learn about different ways of doing it, like you will learn about NumPy, Panda, and then maybe you will explore TensorFlow and all these things. So that is like, you want to become a machine learning expert. But there is another way where you are a developer and you want to use machine learning in your projects. Maybe you are making an application. So that is another way, which means that you don't want to become a machine learning expert. You don't want to create your custom models, but rather you want to use some pre-trained models, and you want to apply those things in your application. So we are gonna focus on the second way of doing it, like not the first way. So I'm not a machine learning expert, so I cannot help you with that, but yes, I'm a developer. I can definitely help you with how to learn machine learning to use in your application. So for that, we are going to use something called ML5. So ML5 is a JavaScript library which we will use, which is actually some kind of high level library. So if let's say you want to use TensorFlow, then there is TensorFlow JS, which is a low level library, but let's say you have to write so many things there. So there is something called ML5 which is based on TensorFlow, and then it can like ease the process for you. So that's what we are going to use. And that you can like read on the screen, that friendly machine learning for the web. So that's the idea behind it. And we will see different pre-trained models in this particular video and how to use them. And also, before we proceed, I'll also tell you what is machine learning if you don't know about that. So if you are a beginner, let's start. So let's say I go to my terminal, I go to my documents, dev, and then ML5 tutorials, and I'll open my Visual Studio Code here. So this is my Visual Studio Code, and this time let's talk about what is machine learning. So in general terms, like if you will search, let's say if I go to my browser and if I try to search machine learning, so what I see is, okay, machine learning is a method of data analysis that automates analytics, model building. It's a branch of artificial. There's a lot of these kind of definition, which is definitely difficult to understand. If we go into Wikipedia, then it's a study of computer algorithms that improves automatically through experience, and blah blah blah, something like that. So now let's try to understand in like the easiest way possible. So if I just say, let's say there is some input, and then you apply some algorithms over that input, and you get some output, right? So this is basically how we write programs. Like we have some input, we write some algorithm, and then we get some output. Let's say my name is Pawan, that is the input. Then I can apply some algorithms, let's say convert it to uppercase, something like that, and then we will get some output, let's say this. Okay, so this is how we write programs. But in machine learning, like when we say machine learning, then it means that you will already have the input as well as not the algorithm but the output. So you have the input, you have the output, and now you want to have the algorithm. So that is machine learning. Like based on some database, or data set, it will have some, let's say, inputs, it will have some output, and based on the data set, it will actually try to find out that algorithm. So finding algorithm is actually machine learning, or you can say predicting that algorithm is machine learning. Okay, so in others case, let's say how we can see it, let's say based on previous year data, we can check, like in let's say 1920 there was this much rain, okay, and maybe let's say in 1950 there was this much rain, and let's say there are some data from 1920 to 2020, and based on that data we want to predict like when how much rain can be there in the future. So that is also machine learning. So yeah, predicting the output based on the past experience is also machine learning. So yeah, that's the idea. Let's try to go into detail. Let's say if I want to give you an example, what it could be is, let's say I want to find the type of device which I'm using. So I will write something like this. Let's say if the width of the device is less than 600, then maybe it's mobile. Okay, and otherwise else when the width is greater than 600, then it can be web. Okay, so this is basically I'm writing an algorithm, but in case of machine learning I will have some data set. Let's say I'll have 500 mobile. Okay, and then I will have, let's say, 100 which is again mobile, then I will have 700 which is web, 1000 which is web. So something like that. I will have like thousands or lakhs of this data, and based on this data I'll generate this algorithm. So that will be machine learning. Okay, that's a very rough idea, and that's the easiest way to understand it. Now moving further, we will talk about ML5 and what we can do with that. Okay, so we are in the ML5 tutorials, and if I go back to ML5, if I press on getting started, then I'll see like there are some like one thing which I also want to tell you is, let's say when we talk about machine learning, if I write machine learning here, then there are three things which are very important. One is the algorithm. So yeah, there is some kind of algorithm which is involved in machine learning. So let's say you might have heard about neural networks. Okay, so yeah, that's type of an algorithm, right? The second thing which is important is model. So we like in this case we are gonna use some pre-trained models. So pre-trained models, if I want to give you an example, there are many, like Yolo is there, PoseNet is there, which we are gonna use, Face API, and others, like there are many. And the third important thing is data set. So you need these three things to actually perform machine learning. So there should be some algorithm, there should be some model, and there should be some data set. So in this particular video we'll talk about these models, pre-trained models, and using those models we'll try to predict things, or we will try to generate some algorithms, and let's see what we can do. So in ML5, when we go here is like they say how you can start with machine learning and how you can like include this in your project. And then here you can read like for images, like there is helpers, neural network, feature extractor, KNN classifier, K means, and for image classifier, PoseNet, Face API, and Sketch RNN, and Yolo. So yeah, these are the things. So we are gonna use PoseNet and Yolo in this tutorial, and we'll see how that works, and we will try to identify our like pose like in the terms of video. So first of all, what I'll do here, I'll create few files. One would be index.html, because that is important, that is always important when you are writing on web. Second would be, let's say, style.css, where I can write some CSS. And third would be, let's say, pose.js. So it should be a file. Okay, let me just delete it, and let's say pose.js. So this is pose.js. Now index.html would be, I'll just write some HTML over here, and in the title I can just say ML5 tutorials. Okay, and now I want to have few things from here. So there is something called P5. P5 is another library which you can use, which can help you in doing the sketch kind of work. So it is for like creative people who wants to draw things, who wants to show their creativity in terms of sketching. So we can use this to draw few things, or to draw some items based on this output which we will be given by machine learning models. So we are gonna use this, and then we can also use this machine learning, and we will paste it inside our head here. So I can say like this. Yes, so this is how we will get this particular machine learning thing. Inside the body I want to use this pose.js file, which I have just created. There is nothing over here, it's a totally blank file. And for style, we'll also include the style, so I can just say link css, and here, yeah, this is already done. So yeah, this is what we have. And once we are good with that, then inside the post.js, when you are using p5, it gives you some methods which you can specify and it will do all the work for you. Let's say there's one function which is setup. So whatever you will write inside setup, it will be like executed once your app loads. And there is another like method which is draw. So whenever you want to draw something on the screen, like you can write something here. So let's say if I say let's say ellipse, then I can give some number x, y, radius. So let's say 80, 80, 60 and 60, something like that. And now if I try to run this index.html, then I can copy this path, and then let's try to, okay, this is not I wanted. I actually want the relative path. Oh, this is also not I want. I want the path actually. And once I execute it, you can see this is it is drawing something like that. Maybe what I could do, so where we are wrong. Okay, so it should be like this, so that radius and this could be same. Okay, this is not what I wanted to draw, but yeah, that's fine. It means that it is working. So it is trying to draw something, and fortunately it is working. Let me try some other values to see if it is actually refreshing or not. Yes, it is refreshing at this time. It draws this circle. Okay, so this is working fine. And now what I want, inside our index, inside our post.js, what we can do, we also want to capture my video so that I can show you, like, all these kind of implementation. So to capture my video, first of all, we will create a canvas. So I can say create canvas, and you can give some size to this canvas. Let's say 1280 into 720. Okay, so this will create this particular canvas. And if I just refresh over here, then I have the canvas, but you cannot see it. Now I want to have some video over here, and for this canvas, let's give it a block. So I can, in the CSS, I can say that a display as not inline but block. Okay, this is fine. This is, we are done with the CSS. And now I want to fetch my video. So I can say let video, and there is some method which I can access here, and I can say video is equal to create capture. So create capture is another method which you can use, and here I can pass video like this. And now if I will go and refresh it, and you can see use your camera, this file wants to use your camera. I'll allow it, and as soon as I do it, you can see I am here and I'm explaining this thing. But rather than this, I want this particular thing on the canvas, and I want this on the canvas, and I just want to hide this particular part. So what I can do, I can hide my video first. So video.hide, and if I refresh it, allow, and you can see my video is not visible. But at the same time, I, rather than this circle, I want to show my video. So I can say image, and I can say video, and let's say on 00, and it should be small image. Okay, now if I refresh it, allow it, and yes, you can see me here, right? This is basically the canvas now, and this is me. Now we got the video, we got everything. Now how to actually access the PoseNet. PoseNet is basically so if you will go to this, you will click on this PoseNet, and you can see, like, this is how we use PoseNet. So I'll just give you some explanation. Let's say I want to use PoseNet, so I'll say let PoseNet here, and I'll say PoseNet is equal to ml5. So this is ml5, so this is the named import which we have to use, and then ml5 dot PoseNet I can use. And now it will ask me few things like, you know, where you want to use it. So I want to use it on my video, and let's say once it is ready, so I can call this method. So there is a callback on ready, and I can make this method here function on ready. And once I do that, I can actually console.log here, and I can say model is ready to use. That would be good. Yes, so we are good with that. Now if I go here and if I try to refresh this screen, and I'll also open the inspect thing here so that we can see the console. Inside console you can see model is ready to use. So yeah, this is working, and our model is also ready to use. That's what it is saying. Now I can like say something like, you know, PoseNet dot on, like once you get a pose. So on what? So when you get a pose, then I can execute some method. So let's say I can say maybe I can have something, let's say some result here, and I can save this result somewhere. So let's see what we get in the result. So console.log res. So that's what we can do. If I refresh it again, allow it, and then we will see what we get with this result. And you can see this is result, and it is like going crazy. If I open this, then you will see this thing. Let me just show you. On 0 you will get some pose, and you get some skeleton. Okay, in the pose you will see I get key points for nose, left eye, right eye. I get my nose here, left eye, and right eye, left ear, and all these things. Similarly, we have skeleton if we want to draw some line over it. Okay, and inside that, in 0th, we got some score as well. Like, you know, we always get this score, so that based on some score we can actually show or hide something. So that looks really cool. And now how to use it? So we will go back here. So now we are on this PoseNet.on. So now I want to save this you know, result. So I can have something called results here, and I can say this results is equal to this res, which is you know, the response which we are getting. And then based on that, now you can actually let's say you can draw things over here. So on draw, what you can say, if we go back here, then you can see on the 0th of it we are actually getting the pose. Okay, and inside pose we are getting nose, let's say. So what I can do here, maybe I can use some color. So let's say I can use fill here. Fill is basically you can like apply some color. So I can say, let's say 255,0,0, which is actually for red. You can like change it to whatever you want. And then I want to draw an ellipse, and we can use my nose here. So first of all, I want X and Y for that, and then I can give some radius. So X and Y, I can use my results. Okay, and using my results, I'll get let's say the first value, which is 0th one. So results 0 dot pose, and this is how I can get my pose, right? So rather than there like specifying it, let's say my pose here, and I can say my pose is equal to results 0 dot pose. Okay, I mean, I just want to show you like how to do with like deal with this. And then I can say my pose dot nose dot x, and I can say my pose dot nose dot y, and let's say I want to draw like 30 radius ellipse. So yeah, this is what we can do. Basically we are storing the pose. Now let's refresh it and let's see if that works. Okay, nose is undefined. Okay, pose is also undefined. So basically what is the problem? We are trying to access my pose here, but initially when it will be loaded it can take some time. So we can also check if my pose is actually available, otherwise it doesn't make sense, right? So now if I save it, if I refresh it again, if I allow it here, okay, it's taking some time, model is ready to use. Okay, pose of undefined. So it is saying that on line number 14, what we can write here now would be my pose is equal to, we can actually check if actually this res dot length is greater than 0, then only we will actually use it, otherwise it does not make any sense. And now we can use this results 0 and then we can say pose. Okay, once we do that, now let's try to refresh this screen, and if I allow it, then you will see, okay, you can see the nose. So it detected my nose. Let's try to change its color, let's say 120, and now if I refresh it, allow it, then you can see, okay, this is my nose. You can like it can identify my nose. Similarly, if I, let's say if I want to access my left ear, then I can say left ear and left ear here also, and maybe I can like draw both of them. Okay, so let's do one thing. Let's say nose here, and from left ear, before left ear, we can fill it with let's say some random number 160, and yep, something like this. So now if I will refresh it, so allow it, and then you will see, okay, it's identifying my left ear here which is correct, and this is my nose, which is also working fine. And the problem is that, see, these models are trained based on like if you are like standing, then it will give you accurate results better, and the camera should be little bit far from you. So yeah, it's right now it's still predicting very good results. For the key points, like this is my left ear, I can remove this part of code, and actually I can use some key points to actually display all those things. So if I say, let's say if or not if, we can apply a loop here. So what I want actually, guys, to like tell you is that let's try to once log my pose here. Let's log my pose here once we log my pose, then let's refresh it, and we can like, yes, so this is my pose, and if I just try to see it, then we get key point, we also get this score, and based on this score we can actually do things. So like this score is ranging from 0.3 0.2 something like that. So we can access this score, and then we can print those key points. So yeah, this is inside my like this is score, and then this is the key points and all that. So what we can do, we can like have a check here. Let's say if my pose dot score is greater than 0.3, then what we want to do, we can apply a loop over here, and we can say, let's say let I is equal to 0, and I should be less than my pose dot key points. So key points was something which we saw, dot length, and then we can say I plus plus. Okay, once we say that, here what we can do is basically I can write, I will first of all get the x coordinates and y coordinates. So I can say let x is equal to like my pose dot key points index I dot position. So if you will see it, inside that in key points there is this 0, and inside that you have position x and y, right? So that's what I wanted to access. Like for I, this is the I, and inside I have position, so I want to access the position. So I can say position dot x. Okay, so it will give me x position. Similarly for y, I can do this, and then I can say y, and yeah, it should be good to go. And then guys, yeah, once you have x and y, you can use some color to print that. So let's say we can use something, let's say 0 0 255, something like that. And then we can draw an ellipse over here, and let's say we want to say, let's say x y as x and y, and for radius we can say, let's say 20, something like this. And now if I refresh this and allow this, then we will see the key points. Okay, so it is actually using this score should be greater than 0.3, and it is actually displaying all the key points like my eyes, nose, and these ears, and then this my body, like I'll show you the body, but at the same time I want to like draw this skeleton as well. So if you will see here, if I show you the console, there is something called like these are the key points, but apart from key points, what you can access is basically if you go on the top, so okay, we are not actually using that. So apart from key points, this particular result also gives you a skeleton. So skeleton you can use to draw something like here until the bottom. So it will start with your like where you have bones, it will use those as a skeleton, and it can represent your body as a skeleton. So what I have to do for that, here I can just create a new variable, let's say skeleton. Okay, and here rather than pose I will say skeleton, and I can just say skeleton. Okay, so this is basically skeleton. Let me just show you if you are getting confused. Let's remove this console.log from here, and let's print this maybe results. So console.log, and we will print the results. And once we are good with that, then if I will refresh this, you will see that console. Okay, here you can see like let's use this one. I have pose and skeleton. Okay, and in skeleton we have again an array with the position and the same thing. So that's what we are going to use. So we can get this skeleton here, and now once we get the skeleton, after this loop I can apply another loop over here. So let's say when it is ending, then we can say for let I is equal to 0, again same thing, I should be less than skeleton dot length, and then I plus plus. So this is almost the same thing. And now we can, like if you will see here, then skeleton is actually giving us two things, like array of two, one is 0 and one is 1. So in 0 we can get some position, and in 1 we can get some position. So basically 0 is initial point and 1 is the after point. Okay, so initial and final point. So for initial point, let's say we can say let initial, okay, and we can say like skeleton I dot and 0. So 0 is initial, and for final we can say rather than 0 we can say 1, and then we can draw a line, right? So for drawing a line, basically I can say line, and I can take the value of initial, and initial dot position. So position I will get dot x. So if you will see here, in 0 we have this position and x and y. So this is what I want. So similarly this we got for initial. Now like this we got like x value of initial. Similarly we will get a y value of initial. Now similarly we will get the same value for final x, and then we can say final y. Once we get all these values, then yeah, we should be good now. Now let's try to refresh it, and let's see if that works. And yes, so you can see I have some line over here. It's not looking so good, but yes, I have one line. I have to like stand, and I will show you how that looks like. So before I do that, I have to do like one more change over here. So what that change would be, like I want to change the color over here of this line. So and I don't want this like what you can say, like give some stroke weight to it. So stroke weight is basically weight. What is the spelling of weight? I forgot it. It should be this, right? Okay, you can give some weight, let's say 2, and you can also give some stroke color. So stroke color will give some white color because it will be more visible. So now if I refresh it, and actually white color is also not the greatest color, but just for the thing. And now if I let me just show you, let me just like stand over here, and I'll just push it little back, and then I'll try, and you can see like this is moving. Now if I do this, and if this is moving and this is looking good, but right now we cannot see that, so that is fine. It is working, and if you will try with the like better camera, then it will give you even better result. So yeah, that's it guys. This is PoseNet, and this is what you can do like in a very small code. And now we will try to do YOLO thing, like you know how to use YOLO. So we can create YOLO.js similarly. Okay, and we can copy this, and here we can just paste it, and rather than you know PoseNet and all this, I will change it to YOLO. Okay, and we will have some results, that's not a problem. And then what we can do, we will capture the video as well. Rather than ml5.PoseNet, we can actually say YOLO. Okay, so YOLO will also take this video, and on ready it will say model is ready to use. But rather than doing this here, we can actually do the detection over here. So it actually have something called detection. So we can say detection, so detect, and we can paste this code over here, and rather than PoseNet, I'll say YOLO, because this is okay, this should be YOLO. This is basically YOLO. We have replaced it, and let's remove this my pose and skeleton over here, and let's also blank this initial thing. We don't need it anymore. Okay, so I'll also write function so that it can understand what's happening. Yep, this is fine. And now YOLO have this method called detect. Okay, so you can use detect. So I can say YOLO dot detect. Okay, so once you say that, YOLO gives you two things. You don't have to do this. It gives you error as well as the result. So once we get the result, we can save it, right? So we can save it in our results here. So I can save it here, and I can just say res result. Okay, and then like you know, when you are showing it different things, then you have to detect it again. So we can just call this method again and again, so that it can detect like after detecting one thing, it can detect again. So if you show something else, then it can detect that. And once it is ready, we will call this method here as well, so that you know, we can get some data. And we can also console log this results. Okay, so results. So now we will try to like you know perform this, and let's see if that works. And here in the index.html, we can just say YOLO.js. And now if I go here, if I try to you know refresh it, let me just do that, and let me open inspect, allow, and once the model is ready, okay, it's still not showing anything. Okay, model is ready to use, and now you can see it has given some data to us. So here you can see we have label as person, so it can see me. It has also some confidence of 0.69, which is good, and it gives us x, y, width and height, all these things. Okay, so this is what we are getting with YOLO. It actually gives us the object identification. So right now the object is person. So if we go here, let's say if I want to draw that person, how I can do that. So here I can also actually give width and height so that it can draw me. Okay, now first of all, I have these results with me. So for all these results, I'll apply a for loop and I'll say let I is equal to 0. I should be less than this results dot length and I plus plus, right? So this is what we will do. And now first of all, we don't want any kind of stroke, so we can just eliminate it. Similarly, we don't want, we want to fill with some color. So let's say we can fill it with a color. Let's take a color from here this time, maybe 159, 79, 187, 159, 79, 187, something like this. Okay, you can use any color, it's totally your choice. And now we want to print that label. Okay, so that was saying person, so I can use text here. So text is this is offered by P5 again. So I can use this results of I, and there is a property which I showed you which was label. Okay, and then I can use width and height like of this object. So I can use results I and dot x, and I can multiply it with the width which we have. Similarly, I can get y and I can multiply with height, and let's give some height. Let's add 20 over this height as well. So we should get the text now. If I want to try it, we will try it, but let's try to now draw a rectangle as well so that it can identify me. So I can, this time I can say no fill, don't fill anything, because we don't want to fill it. I just want to show a line, not with filling something. And then again we can give some stroke weight. Okay, and let's say this time we will give it 5, and then we can give some color. So stroke color for the box, let's say we give it 00255, which is for green, which is a good color, right? And then we can use rectangle to draw a rectangle, so it should be rect. And now I want to use height and width. So height and width I can get from here, so we can just copy it, and then we will also get the width and height of that box from this. So rather than x we can say w, and rather than y we can say h. So this is what we will get. And now let's go here and let's try to refresh it. So if I allow it, I will see, okay, length of undefined we are already getting somewhere on line number 27, horizon 27. Okay, results dot length. Okay, so we will check here. If results dot length is actually greater than 0, then only we will do it. So yes, we can write something like this. Now if I will refresh it, allow it, okay, it's still saying that. Okay, model is ready to use. Okay, maybe what we could do here, rather than saying this, we could use this logic from here to here, and we can say dress, and then maybe it's better to do it here, right? What do you say, right? And let's remove this here. Okay man, give me a second. This is actually a lot of fun. Actually, when you will play with it, you will enjoy it. Okay, they're still getting some issue on line number 30 this time. Results, okay, should we have left this as well? Okay, there's definitely some issue with this. Let's remove this call first of all, and let's paste it again. Okay, this is something which we have to deal with. Okay, this is, now let's try one more time. Length is still an issue, this time on 28. Why this is saying this? Okay, we can actually check if results are there or not, something like that, because length might be missing. Okay, this time it should work. Okay, it's a very bigger picture. You can see person over here, and it's actually trying to take that entire box. Let me just change the size of the box. We can make it, let's say 320 into 240, something like that. And also we can give this video some size. Let's say same size we give it to video. If I do this, let's refresh it and let's see. Yep, this is here now, and you can see it is identifying me as a person. And yep, it's showing the box. It's not the proper box. Let me just try to show it some mobile. If that teddy bear, no, it's not teddy bear. Okay, it's stuck somewhere, I think. Maybe I have to change the size of it, because size is the problem. It's not detecting anything now. Okay, it's stuck somehow. So what I'll do, I'll try to refresh it again so that it can work. And now it is detecting. If you will see here, yes, you can see cell phone. Okay, it is now predicting the cell phone. Okay, so yeah, it's like kind of stopping for some reason, but that is fine. The idea is very much similar now. You will get, like, this is how Yolo works. Similarly, you can use face API and body pics. So face API also gives you these things. Rather than PoseNet or Yolo, you will say face API, and it will be similar to Yolo. It will give you error and results like this. And you can apply this on images as well, and you can also pass some options like with landmark, with descriptors, and minimum confidence, what you want, right? Yep. So there are many things which you can do. So yeah, this is about machine learning, a easy way or friendly way, and I hope that you enjoyed it. And if you did, then press the like button, subscribe to the channel right now, and also let me know what's your suggestion for this video or what you want in the future. And also share with your friends. Keep learning, keep enjoying, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye, take care, and have fun.